Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel that talks about a different kind of game, the reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for 25 years, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon and with me as always, it's Juxtapolito Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Um, well, I see that you have a nice shirt this afternoon. Um, and
Yeah.
we were talking about this before the show. This thing doesn't fit me that
Yeah.
much anymore. There's a reason that I have the pop filter out, ladies and gents.
And that's also the reason why I have a new shirt because my old shirts wouldn't fit me either. So I think that a trip to Survivor would do us well, so that we can fit in our old shirts again if
Yes.
we last that long.
We wouldn't make it. Well, I wouldn't make it pre-casting. Like, I wouldn't make it like before the interview. Be like, what is this guy doing?
We are podcasters from the Philippines who are fans of the show and the game, right?
And they look at us.
There's
They
a
look
what
at
is
us. Huh, podcasters. The last two podcasters we had on Asia and
they didn't quite last long. We'll last longer. We hope. No, but they'll be so intrigued with our concept of being a fan of the show and a fan of the game that they'll let us through, right?
yeah, that'd be really cool, right? Hey, Survivor, if you're listening to this, right? And I know you are, Jeff. Hear me out here. All right, two tribes. I'm on one tribe. Joe's on the other tribe, and it's fans of the show versus
Hmm.
fans of the
Fans of the
game.
game, yeah. That would actually be that would actually be a good theme, right?
Yep.
Those who
Jeff,
know,
you're listening.
right?
I know
Those
you're
who
listening.
know about the history of Survivor, and those who know how to actually play the game of Survivor,
Yeah.
right? Who will get to the end, right? Yeah. So yeah,
The,
that's
the
it.
the
Yeah,
person with
Jeff.
the best social game. That's really it.
No, no, doesn't really matter if they're a fan of the show or a fan of the
Just the person with the best social game. Like, that's what New Era Survivor is teaching us.
game. Yeah. Anyway, tonight we are going to talk about the last episode, episode 8 of season 48, entitled "A Rift Between All of Us." I don't know how true that became in this episode, but anyway, before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And for those of you who just want to listen to our soothing voices and don't want to have to look at our mugs whenever we talk Survivor, you can go to wherever you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. Anyway, let's begin. A
Yes.
rift between all of us. Was this really did this title? I mean, we talk about it all the time how the titles should sort of like be characteristics of the episode. Do you think that the title was apt for the episode?
There's a rift between all of them, right? There's a sort of split down the middle.
Mm,
Um, middle, not really the middle, but there's a clear divide, but it isn't like a divide between the last 10. It isn't a
mm,
divide between the pairs necessarily.
mm,
Although you can start to see the cracks forming.
mm.
Um, when David was like, "Hey," like unilaterally saying, "Hey, let's bring in the Asian girl." I was like, "All right, Asian girl, part of the strong team," but like, you know, that's a potential rift, right? You have like Kyle and Camilla
Mm.
throwing a spanner in the works. Like, yes, there's a there's a rift there between the strong whatever number it
The
is at
strong
this
group
point.
alliance.
Yeah, like at this point it might as well just be like the strong, yeah, strong whatever number comes into David's mind. Um, because like apparently it was the strong five, now it's
Yeah,
the strong six, right?
I have a note about that. That conversation between him and Kyle, like like, and then he's got so the plan has to be the strong five. Yes, it's the strong five. It's still the strong five, right? Yes, the plan has to be the strong five. So what's the plan? We're bringing Mary in. It's a strong six.
Nice. Nice. Well, the strong six is cool. Like have it as like the strong six, but
Mm-hmm.
that last spot is sort of like a flex spot, you know? Like
Mm.
somebody can just come in and out, whatever. Um, it's like the beauty of the idea of having the 12 tribes of Israel. Like like you know, because they're like lost tribes or whatever,
Mhm.
like you can map whatever you want onto these lost tribes of Israel. You can say, a la the um, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, that one of those 12 tribes of Israel ended up in the United States because you can
Okay.
map whatever you want on them because, like, you know, we don't know what happened to them, right? So
Yeah.
it's that's like that, you know. It's like the strong six. All right, we want like Asian girl. All right, we want other Asian girl. You know, we want we want stutter guy, right?
Mm.
Like, you know, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm convinced that that's how David like talks about them
Thinks.
in his head. You know, he's
Yeah.
like Asian girl, Mary, Mary.
Mm.
Like,
Mary, she's with me.
yeah.
She's with me. Yeah, but David, I think, is the one who is so gung ho about the strong alliance because he really does believe in it, right?
Yeah.
He's so, and I think that it's also because he doesn't really have any other game, right? That's
Mm,
why he hangs on to the whole strength and loyalty, right?
yeah.
Which is what Chrissy was trying to go against, right?
Mm,
And yeah, but David, he is so married to that concept of strength and loyalty that that might just prove to be his downfall. Whereas we in this episode in particular, we also see someone like Joe, my winner pick Joe, starting to show that he has a strategic side, right?
yeah.
The reason why he suggested that they pair, just randomly, just whoever wants to pair with whoever, because he was looking out for everyone, right? He was looking at how people were going to behave, and
Yeah.
he's showing a sort of strategic side, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was really clever of him. Like, you know, not as clever as our girl Rachel,
Mm.
who was like, "Hey, I'm going to use a shot in the dark in this creative way." But like, yeah, that was uh that was quite clever of him, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." But then he goes off and picks freaking Eva, like in the most like predictable thing in the
Mhm.
world, you
It
know?
it it would have been out of left field if he all of a sudden picked Chrissy,
Yeah,
right? That would have been
yeah,
it. That would have been it. Yeah.
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 You know, that'll be. But then you know, it's one of those. It's really interesting, right? Because right now I do feel like we have this juxtaposition of, right? I use the word juxtapose. After you called me out on not using my namesake enough, uh, we we have this juxtaposition between the known pair and the unknown pair,
Mm.
right? Where we have like Eva and Joe, and we have Kyle and Camilla, and these next like the next couple of episodes are going to show us um which side wins. I mean, I'm not sure if that's
Ooh.
like if that's like the right
Mm-hmm.
terminology, but you know, to see which side of the rift, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
is sort of the right strategy for this game this season.
But yeah, you said that which side of the rift, but are Kyle and Camilla necessarily on an opposite side of the rift? Because Kyle is part of the strong group alliance, and
Not
Camilla's on
nominally.
technically Camilla's on the other side of the strong group alliance. So they're like the star-crossed lovers, you know,
Ooh.
from two houses, both aligned in dignity, right?
I
Right.
remember you
In
directed
fair,
that like
yeah,
twice,
I
right?
did. Uh, I directed uh, excerpts of it twice, and then I directed a full version of it. Yeah. So
With
yeah,
like interpretive dance and everything. That was actually pretty cool.
so yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
I think that in truth, Kyle and Camilla are in the center, the middle of the entire the rift. They're on opposite sides of the rift, but they're the closest to each other, basically. right? Because on one side, before this episode finished, there you had the strong group. You've got David, Eva, Joe, Shaheen, and well, Mary, but not really, uh, and Kyle, right? And there's Mary, Camilla, Chrissy, Mitch, and Star on the other side, right? Yeah. So, but and so far, why even though David says that Mary is part of the now strong six, I don't think that everyone else has accepted Mary as being part of that strong alliance. So
Yeah.
she's really not there. And then we've seen how close the Camilla Kyle duo has become, right? So and and I think that they're really the ones in the middle of this whole these two factions basically.
Yeah, so I suppose um at some point Kyle is going to have to face that decision, right? Like, do I go with Camilla and run the game with her, or do I go with the strong, I don't know, it could be like
Mm.
eight by that point. Um so yeah, yeah, like at that point, right? There is going to be a scene, or there is going to come a time when he's going to have to make that decision. And I'm hoping that for the sake of the Shakespeare fan in us, he goes with Camilla.
Mm. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
uh, yeah. Well, at least they don't have daggers or poison where they are. But yeah, I mean, uh, so yeah, and this was one of the last few times that they could have upended the power structure, right? Because
Yeah,
it's at they're at 10, and if Kyle had rallied the basically the lower group, it would have been enough for them to upend the upper group. It's just that I don't know if because he had a target, he was targeting Shaheen, and then Chrissy was targeting Joe. And despite the fact that he was trying to shift the target from Joe to Shaheen when he was talking with Chrissy was like, no, 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 it's out of Joe. Right? So it's a matter of him not really being able to convince everyone enough. And it was a running thing throughout the episode. He had that conversation with Chrissy. He wasn't able to convince her to shift the target on Shaheen. And then when Camilla came under attack from David, no less, uh, he tried shifting it to Chrissy, and nobody really believed him. They still wanted to do Camilla up until the end when Chrissy once again she already blew up her game a couple of tribals ago, and then she blows up her game once again in that tribal, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
It's a messy season.
it is, it is,
It's
it is.
it's well, it's messy um, because of David. Really,
Mm.
like it's really weird. He made a heel. He's doing a heel turn right now, basically. Like in the beginning, he was sort of that lovable, like, hey, I'm the big guy with four nipples, and I like rom coms and all of that stuff. And now he's like, I hear the comparison made quite a bit, right? He's Gaston, like he's basically Gaston at this point.
Yes, now I see that, especially with a thumbnail that we used for our episode last week. That was such a Gaston pose, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. He's doing a little bit of a heel turn, um, which is, I guess, just the way. If it takes a David heel turn for us to get Star
Mm-hmm.
as one of our heroes, which sadly didn't happen this episode.
Mm-hmm.
She was like totally left out. um, well, what was it like? People are talking over there. People are talking over there, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing here? Um, but like, if that's what it takes, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let star shine bright.
In the darkness.
Yeah.
of in the darkness of David's heel turn. But it also goes to tell you how comfortable Star was with her position, right? I mean, despite the fact that she was being left out of conversations and the fact that she didn't have a vote, had this been any other season, that person would be going crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they're being left out of conversations. They don't have a vote. They don't have control over their own game. They might get voted out, right? But Star is like, huh, I wish things had subtitles. Right? He was like, I'm gonna enjoy this. If I had popcorn, I'd be eating popcorn right now.
I suspect that like we're not being shown how good a social game she's playing
Mm-hmm.
because I do think that she's playing an amazing social game, which doesn't bode well for her. Or they might be saving her final like push
Mm-hmm.
to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but what I find really annoying, right? Whenever we do like analysis, whenever I come up with something like that, um, I make it sound coherent, or I try to make it sound coherent, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying two of exact opposite things. Like she's either gonna get voted out or she's
Or
gonna
she's
win.
not. Yeah.
Like,
But the
and they both
way
make
that
sense.
you expound on the point makes it so, you know, uh, yeah, it makes it so compelling, right? That people will believe us, right? And Jeff will have no choice but to cast both of us in the next Survivor, even though the even though we still the fans outside the U.S. and I believe Canada and other U.S. territories still don't have a say in what's going to happen in season 50, right?
Yeah.
I tried it again after I saw the after I saw Jeff telling fans that they can vote, but no, we still can't, right? They need to expand who can vote in Survivor 50.
Or maybe NordVPN, baka naman, you might wanna
Yeah.
sponsor,
Hmm. Yeah.
or what are those other VPN services? Like there are a bunch of them
There are a bunch of them. There are a
that
bunch of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I should anyway.
Anyway, oh, I have a question for you because Chrissy wanted to target Joe because she said that Joe and Eva were running the show. Based on what we've seen in the first 7 episodes, do you think that that's true? Do you think that they really are the ones running the show? Or was that just Chrissy's perception of what was happening in camp?
Um I think it's probably because they are the most visible pair.
Oh, and they're in the
Yeah.
stronger alliance. I mean, the
The
people in
the
power.
over the over what was it? Last season, or was it 2 seasons ago? There was the underdog alliance, and we came up with like a
Yeah,
name for
the upper cats.
the uppercats. Like let's call them the strong uppercat six, right?
Hmm.
Um, but then that would mean that the way that we shorten it would be like sucks, right? Strong uppercat six, right? So the sucks
Yeah, there
alliance,
you go. Yeah, okay.
right? So um, what's it? Yeah, so they I don't know if they're necessarily running the show or if they're necessarily running the game, but they do, as the most visible pair,
Mhm.
have quite a bit of power in the sense that they're going to be voting in lockstep, right? It's it's the thing. At least that's
Mm.
what it's perceived to be. Like I know that a couple of votes ago they didn't vote for the same person, but
Mm.
um at least the perception there is that the two of them are going to be voting together, and that is powerful. That could be scary, um which is why Chrissy is right. To whether or not they're actually running the game, is probably right to take one of them out because of them being a fairly strong pair.
Mm.
It seems to go against sort of quote unquote traditional which I don't even know what traditional is anymore these days when it comes to Survivor, but like it seems to go against traditional Survivor logic or traditional sort of Survivor wisdom, right? That you should be sneaky and
Mm-hmm.
you should be hiding and you should be playing like Kyle and Camilla. But like Joe and Eva are, doing the sort of counterintuitive thing by being a very visible and very strong pair.
Mm.
So, that's also interesting. Um yeah, traditionally the the buff dudes um don't come together and form an alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they're kind of they're doing that now, which again is kind of the counterintuitive thing for this season, and that's kind of what makes this season interesting. Like, some of the stuff that we take as sort of givens aren't as given,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean,
because of Gaston. Right.
Gaston. Yeah. Yeah. It's the whole idea of them more or less. I mean, this season has been subverting our expectations because, and I guess that's what makes it a good thing because we've been talking about it. The seasons have become samey.
Mm,
Uh, they become game bots that just go through the whole season, and they already have like a pattern. It's basically like they fed all 47 or all previous seasons into an AI to come up with a perfect strategy to win the game. So you have to be low key, you have to be social, you have to
mm,
take out put up meat shields and then take them out during the merge or even pre-merge, right? Or yeah, they don't really work well after post-merge, right? So, but this time the season has subverted our expectations, and the strong guys, the strong people, the challenge, challenge beasts. Wow, that's so you've got a challenge beast who turned out to be Gaston. Uh, uh, so so yeah, so it's like so he's a challenge Gaston now. So yeah, the challenge beasts are putting are now forming an alliance, and actually my note here actually is it's sort of like it's like the Joker meme, right? Strategic players form alliances to vote out the strong players. Nobody beats an eyelash. But the moment that strong players form an alliance to vote out the less strong players, the world goes up in flames, right? It's
mm.
like, and that's it stirs our mental image of how Survivor is supposed to go, and that's what's making this season, at the very least, more and more compelling as the days go on. But given what happened here and what we've seen a bit in the next time on, it seems that, as you mentioned, cracks are starting to show, especially in that strong group alliance, strong six alliance. Right?
Yeah. Is Mary gonna be like the Yoko Ono to the group? That'd be so cool.
That just might be it. And then here was David. Here David was, thinking that he could do a Boston Rob. And then Mary
Yeah.
suddenly says, I'm pretending that this is my boyfriend." That's probably where he made his heel turn. We found out that Mary actually had a boyfriend.
Yeah, because he's been lying about his girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
speaking of Mary, like
Mm,
seeing some of the cast stuff on Instagram, like Mary looks like such a fun person.
really?
Yeah, yeah, she's such a fun person. Just putting that out there for
Mm.
people that are listening, right? Like, she has she's quite entertaining. Um, yeah, let's just let's just say, like, I don't think that her personality is necessarily coming through on TV. Like, we see glimpses of it in
Mm.
confessionals, but in like on Instagram, she looks like a lot of fun. Uh,
Well,
I'm just
she does seem to be starting to find her footing within the power structure. You might be
yeah.
right. She might just end up being the Yoko Ono. Yeah, she was an outsider, even in her original tribe. and then she outlasted everyone in that original tribe, and now she's creeping her way into the strong alliance, right? Without just by being in that same tribe swap with David. We didn't
Yep.
even see much collaboration between her and David while they were in that tribe, right?
Yeah, yeah, they that's something that they didn't establish, I don't think. Like they really weren't able to establish um the Mary and David alliance. I mean, they kind of alluded to it during the tribe swap. Like I can distinctly remember Mary being like, "Oh yeah, David, strong
Mm,
dude. He's gonna like build a shelter or whatever."
mm.
Um, but like I don't think we really saw very much else in terms of their sort of strategic partnership. So, um, hmm,
Yeah,
feels like there's a missing scene.
there might be a missing scene.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no,
yeah, and yeah, I don't know. There, and it seems that she has such a the first time that we see her talking in that strong alliance, it's immediately she's in a position of power, right? She's
yep.
like her opinion matters. She's the one who's pushing for Camilla to get voted out, and immediately, like David's like, we need to take Camilla out. So it's like,
Yoko Ono and David is John Lennon.
so and is Joe Paul McCartney?
Sure, sure. The, I mean, yeah, because like because Eva has like sticks, which makes her Ringo Starr.
And then Kyle is George Harrison.
Yes.
Kyle,
Yeah.
is it Kyle or Shaheen? Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, because actually, yeah, because it's the original three strong alliance. Strong, yeah, was Shaheen, right? And then they just
Yeah.
brought Kyle in, but yeah,
Yeah.
Joe was already like paired up with Eva. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I don't know because the thing is like who if we're going with this whole Beatles thing, right? Hello,
Mm.
short. Um, if we're doing this whole Beatles thing, uh, which like who between Shaheen and Kyle has the better like relationships with people outside of the group? Because that's kind of who George Harrison was, right? George Harrison was hanging out with like Eric Clapton and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So whoever that is gets to be George Harrison, and whoever's left over gets to be Pete Best.
The guy got switched out. Well, yeah. Well, who I would say by a small margin, I would think that it's Kyle because Kyle actually does have a relationship outside of the group, right? He's the one with Camilla, albeit a secret duo, and Shaheen is like a floater. He's basically floating around. Doesn't really, we don't really see him talk a lot with the strong group, even in this episode, right?
Yeah. Um. Or well, okay, fine. We could have like a George Martin sort of position, like the producer dude, right? Who's been like acknowledged as like the fifth Beatle,
Okay.
right?
So that's Shaheen.
So I guess, or he
Okay.
could be Pete Best.
He could be Pete Best, the one who got swapped out. Oh my gosh. So yeah, anyway. Um those are some of the names that we're gonna look out for when this video comes out. Uh yeah, what did
Yes.
you think about the journey challenge? That was new,
Yeah.
right? It's a game that I'm quite familiar with. I don't know why I'm familiar with that kind of game, but it is familiar to me. There's probably a variation of it that I've played, right? Has there been,
Hmm.
right? Where you avoid a certain thing, either a card or whatever, and then the others. It's sort of like, well, it's not really like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of like Jenga. No, not really. I don't know. I'm just making connections. I don't really know why, but yeah, that was okay. That was
I
okay.
felt so bad for Star though.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
oh really?
It
Come
was like
on.
Camilla was making ice with Mitch, and then Shaheen, and then whatever. Like I mean, Camilla making ice with everyone. Shaheen says
Mhm.
that they had eye contact, and that's why he picked Camilla. And then Camilla makes ice with Shaheen. I mean, sorry, with Mitch, and that's why they targeted Star. Poor Star. This episode, poor Star. Right?
Yeah. So next episode he's gonna have to start making eyes for Star. Like, hey. But in the end, we know that she only has eyes for Kyle or Jeff. I don't
Or Jeff. You know.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The the other thing that I wanted to like ask, um, was something that like has been discussed quite a bit in the sort of online survivor space is Eva's extra advantage, right? After
Mm.
winning, like they were given a seating arrangement and Eva gets the clue in the food that's like right in front of her. What are your thoughts on that?
Do you think that? Do you think they were arranged by production to sit down that way?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, are they? Isn't that
Like
like a?
they had little name tags or they had little
Oh, they did.
nameplates,
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I didn't see
right?
that. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the like one is I don't know one side or one point of view is like oh so obviously playing favorites with Eva blah 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 blah
Mm.
blah. The other or another perspective is because of the wording of the clue which
Mm.
said something along the lines of congratulations your performance today um has given you whatever like she gets an extra advantage so it's
Mm.
absolutely fine that hey they're not playing favorites or whatever it's just because she won um she gets rewarded and then the other sort of perspective is yeah that kind of sucks because you're making survivor a um winner keeps winning what's
Oh, the
there's
rich get
this
richer.
yeah like a rich get richer sort of game right
Mm.
where it gets sort of snowbally
Mm-hmm.
um so I don't know
Mm.
what's your perspective on that because you
Well,
have
I didn't know that
those
they were like that. They had an actual order. Uh, but and the bowl of chips was closer to her, right? I mean, it's
yeah
not. It wasn't like they had individual bowl of chips. Everyone. I mean, who was right beside her? Right beside her was David, right? It was her, David,
I
right?
thought it was Joe
Mary,
but
Joe. I
I don't
think
know
was on the far end. I think it was Eva on one end, Joe on the other end, and then Mary right beside Joe, and then David.
Hmm.
Right? That was something like that. But yeah, I mean, the bowl of chips, anyone could have actually spotted. Yes, she did have a bit of an advantage in seeing it. But what if she wasn't into chips?
yeah but it was right in front of her right and it was like that's the thing when I was looking at it when I was looking at the advantage like there was no way that anybody else was going to get it because it was like if like I'm here and like she was on the far corner
Mm.
left side of the
The
screen I
yeah, left
believe
side, leftmost. Yeah.
yeah the leftmost side of the screen and like the chips whatever it was were like right in front of her on the far side
Oh, was it? Mm. I thought it was like
yeah
closer to the middle. Okay,
but it wasn't closer to the middle it was closer to like the far
it was
side
really closer to her.
yeah so like they intended it was like unless somebody was like hey can you pass me that and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah I feel like it was clearly intended for her and because of the wording that like your performance in the challenge today has given you like has given you this clue to whatever like okay yeah
Mm-hmm.
that's fine it's an additional reward for winning immunity but then again it's
Yeah,
a
but yeah,
rich get
that's
richer sort of thing right
yeah. If that's the case, and they actually arrange them that way, that sort of dilutes for me, the dilutes the beauty of that happening, right? Because when
Mhm.
it happened to Rachel in the auction, right? Uh, no one. I mean, production couldn't have known that it was Rachel who was going to get the
Yeah.
prize, right?
Yeah.
But this
So
time, if it was really meant for Eva to find it,
yeah,
yeah,
or whoever won the immunity challenge.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So I
that kind of
feel like
sucks. That
it's
kind of sucks.
feel like it's sort of the hand of the producer coming in
Hmm.
and messing around a little too much.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could have just did something similar to what again us with being spoiled by Australian Survivor. You remember that reward where they had like the pasta and all of that, and then they needed to go in there one by one.
All right, my winner pick. My winner pick. Ooh.
The
Come on,
Jungle Rat
Mary.
King.
Come on, Mary. A chance.
Whoa! If Mary wins this one, so you'll be 2 out of 2.
Maybe I'll be 2 out of 2. We, we,
No,
as a
I've
community
got
from the
Joe.
East.
Oh yeah, I know. But yeah, but my winner pick is Joe. And I didn't really have a winner pick for Australia. But yeah, yeah, you'd be. I mean, you really picked Miles and Mary, right?
I didn't necessarily pick Mary.
Oh,
No,
didn't
no,
you?
I picked Miles.
Hmm.
I didn't pick Mary. Um, I actually didn't pick anybody, right?
Didn't you pick
But
the other dude, the other Asian dude,
yeah,
also
but like
from Mary's tribe?
I don't remember who was responsible for taking him out.
Well, since Mary's the last one from that tribe.
All right, Mary is my canonical winner pick.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, given the information you told me, I mean, that sucks. That sucks if production is influencing the outcome that much. So we gave production flowers last week. What do we give them? We're chastising them. We give them
Do I
hell.
have coal? Do I have coal here?
All right.
I don't want to
And
like give him the finger or anything, right? Because like we try to keep the show as clean as
yeah,
possible.
as possible, as clean
So
as possible. So anyway,
maybe some coal, maybe some coal. I don't have coal. I do have flowers over there. Uh, you know, coal, dangerous, dangerous.
mm,
It's quite dangerous. Apparently, like coal power plants kill more people than nuclear power plants every year.
hmm.
So I don't know where I'm going with this. Oh, another thing, like a very like important question.
Mm.
What animal could you take down in a fight?
Oh, what animal could I take down in a fight? Oh my god. What animal? I, I don't know because I was gonna say a puppy or a kitten, but I wouldn't be able to fight a puppy or a kitten because I'd find it too cute. I don't
Exactly.
know.
I was thinking like, a dog. What's the biggest dog I can think of? And then I started thinking about my husky. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I, I don't know. Gosh, are insects animals? No, they're insects, right?
I mean, yeah, but then surely you can probably take down something bigger than like a cockroach. Well, no, I mean, like personally, I could have taken down a cockroach. I'd be like running away. I'd be like, oh my god, give me the bug spray. But like, especially when it starts going like, bzz, like no,
Yeah, it
run away,
starts.
run away.
Yeah, I don't know. What I wouldn't be able to take down a gorilla like Joe said he would be able to.
Old retired gorilla.
Yeah, or a hyena. What the hell is Kyle doing saying? Uh, dude, I really haven't given that much thought. No, not a goat. Goats are scary.
Yeah, dude, they kick really hard.
Yeah, a sheep. Are they that much different from goats? I
Hmm.
wouldn't know.
Well,
Right?
I guess it depends on the parameters, right? Like if I had a knife, maybe I could take down
Maybe.
like a horse, you know,
Maybe, yeah.
right? Like mount the horse and stab in the back of the neck or
Yeah.
something. But like, you know,
Yeah, and also, yeah, like you said, the parameters. I mean, if Joe is able to, if is allowed to say that, okay, just sneak up and then slap him in the head and then just run away, right? If the parameters is the animal does not know that you're there to attack them, then I
yeah,
would think that a lot of big animals, we can take down a lot of big animals, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you heard it here first. Take us down to the African savannah.
Well, if someone from recent Philippine news is to be believed, we just need to go down to Mindanao,
No.
to the sub-Saharan desert. Yeah, uh, yeah. That's yeah. If we're allowed to dictate the parameters of the encounter, it might be easy for us to take down any animal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Are we allowed to use like chemical weapons? But by chemical weapons, I mean like bug spray, right? Like that sort of thing. Like, well, we're not gonna like throw anthrax at like a hyena or something, right?
Mhm.
Like, although, hmm, or like mustard gas a horse.
Oh, wait. So, just going back to giving production coal. I did see another missed opportunity here,
Hmm.
because Star had that line during the scramble after the challenge when she said, "I wish things had subtitles."
Yeah,
Broad could have actually given her subtitles right there, but
yeah,
they didn't. That was such a it would have been funny, but yeah, they didn't do that. So yeah, additional call for Broad. So yeah, we're not just here to give Broad their flowers, but sometimes we have to give them cold as well.
yeah. I mean, you know, this after after the episode with what do you call it? After the episode with Joe and Eva hugging and
Mm.
like hugging it out while Eva was having an episode. Um, my fear, my fear was that the rest of the season wouldn't live up
Mm.
to that episode, right? Because that was like a really good episode.
Yeah.
As you know, as one of those as a fan of the show, like you know, people got to admit that was a really good episode.
Mm.
And like the fear,
It transcended the show. It went to like we talked about it during the our episode of talking about that episode. It
yeah,
transcended to people who had not watched Survivor in so long a time.
yeah, like it was to the level of John Cena's heel turn,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
right, like you know, all of a sudden people are watching wrestling or people are talking about John Cena's heel turn. Like you weren't there in 2012 anyway. Uh, but you know, but my fear was it was gonna sort of go downhill from there,
Mm.
and
Is
it,
that your observation so far?
yeah, it doesn't feel like it's living up to
Hmm.
that. I'm hoping that this is just like a little bump in the road, like right before it, you know, sort of picks up and we got like a great finish. But right now it looks like a sort of semi pagonging in a way,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like,
This could have been a great opportunity for the guys in the middle. The guys in the middle, or the guys who are part of the strong group but are also really strategic to actually make a strategic move, right?
yeah,
Kyle and or either Kyle or Shaheen,
yeah,
but more Kyle because he's the one that we're seeing is actually doing strategic moves. He could have rounded up the the lower the lower half of the lower, yeah, faction to take out David. I mean, they're already the, and we know that David is starting to to figure out that Kyle actually has a secret alliance with Camilla, right? If he
Does
if
he really though? Does he?
I mean we have
The reason he wanted to take out Camilla was because he thought
because of
that she was
Sheen.
close with Shane.
Yeah, but then again, because he also had that, was that a confessional? Oh, yeah, yeah, that was a confessional after after Kyle was trying to shift the votes over to Chrissy. He started going like, "Oh, why all of a sudden? Why are you doing this? Why what, yada yada yada?" And in that discussion that they had, the four of them, Mary, David, Eva, sorry, five of them, Mary, David, Eva, Joe, and Kyle. Uh, he even straight out said that, "Why are you trying to move votes away from Camilla?
Mm,
It seems like that
yeah.
you're moving votes away from Camilla." And then we also see that in next time on, where he's like, "They're working together." That we have
Yep.
that line that goes out there, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it David, for all the we've been saying that he doesn't really have a strategic mind. He there are some gears turning around his head, right? And he's starting to add things up. And if Kyle were uh, strategic enough or mafiosi enough, he would have cut David loose before David could like gather the votes that they came out, right? And this would have been a good prime time for Kyle, Camilla, Chrissy, and then they could bring in Mitch, right? And maybe even Joe, because Joe was a little off already with David, right?
They they can still do it.
At 9,
Uh, yeah, they can still do it at 9, but they're gonna have to get either Shaheen or Mary, right?
but
Because
Mary's
like
tight with David though.
yeah, so they're gonna have to get Shaheen
Hmm.
because on one side it's gonna be David, Eva, Joe, and Mary.
Mm-hmm. No, so yeah, the rest.
Yeah,
So
and then
Star,
on the
they're
other
gonna need
side,
to get Star. Star will be such an important castaway in this next episode. She's gonna be the one in the middle.
yeah. No,
Right?
Kyle is the one in the middle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But if he's going to start a rebellion, right? So he's gonna go over to the other faction. Then Star will be left in the middle, eating popcorn, looking for subtitles, right?
Yeah. God, Star is in such a good position. She's either the best position or the worst position,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like I was when I was younger, I was reading something from oh man, this is gonna sound really weird for people that are like into politics or political science because I can't remember who it was. It was either something from Noam Chomsky or Ralph Nader,
Okay.
who are both
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that like in a two-party system, right? In a two-party political system, the people that actually hold the most power once everything is settled are the independents,
Mm.
right? Because those are the in a world that wasn't so polarized like 2004 or 5, 2003, like that time. Yeah, yeah, we thought that the Bush era was rather polarizing, but it's nothing compared to now.
Yeah.
Um, Back in the day, like the independents were the ones that everybody on either side had to try to convince of getting their policies across, which gave the independents the most power, like the straight up unaffiliated.
Mm-hmm.
So Star is kind of in that position, and so the question is this 2005 America or 2025 America?
What do you think?
The way David is playing, it feels like it's 2005. Like old school, old school.
Yeah.
This is a pretty old school feeling season, actually, when I think about it.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
Yeah, there's like a straight up group that really won't budge, and then you have this other group that's trying to claw into that, trying to find the cracks, but they're just getting
yeah,
pogonged.
yeah. So it's fairly old school with some of the problems that might come with it.
Yeah.
Although I'm hoping for like a flip somewhere, like, for
Yeah.
I'm hoping for something interesting to happen, basically, because I
Yeah.
don't, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be like Mitch goes, then Star goes, then Camilla goes, then they start cannibalizing each other. Like
Exactly.
that feels like a pretty boring like boot order. So, here's hoping that in the next couple of episodes, Kyle and Camilla can get something done,
Hmm.
because like the fate of Survivor 48's entertainment value depends on it.
And all of a sudden, they give the castaways a throwing challenge, and Mitch is pretty good at throwing, so he might win immunity.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a Mitch. That's what will save this season. A Mitch immunity run,
that would be so cool.
right? Right. The guy who I would never have pictured him being a PE teacher, but he is a PE teacher,
Yeah,
and yeah, he has like he has a stutter, right? So he's a little bit on the outs in that sense, but
yeah,
then he comes up with an immunity run, and that upends the strong alliance. They
yeah,
start they start like fighting with each other.
yeah. Because you know what? Mitch should be in the Strong Alliance.
He should be.
He's a PE teacher. Had this
Mm-hmm.
been Australian Survivor Brains versus Brawn
Mm-hmm.
three, is it? Like the most recent one was two, right?
Yeah.
So had this been an Australian Survivor Brains versus Brawn, he would have been on the Brawn tribe straight up,
Mm-hmm.
because
Exactly.
he's a PE teacher.
He's a PE teacher, and he's shown it in the challenges that he actually has physical prowess.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know. It might be the Davids or in the Joes that are underestimating him. Probably because he doesn't really look like a strong guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Right? We're hoping for a Mitch immunity run that encourages Kyle to go after David. Hopefully not Joe.
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I think that David would be the better kick.
Yeah.
Like, taking out David opens up the game more than taking out Joe, I think.
Mm. Yeah, because yeah, like I said, Joe is starting to show strategy. Even Eva is starting
Yeah,
to show
she's not
strategy.
telling anybody. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. But she's like, oh, she's not telling anybody. This
Right.
is going to be the crack between her and Joe,
Yeah.
because she's going to be like, no, I don't have anything. Joe would just be like, I don't have anything, Joe. Bam, there's the crack right there. Joaquin is going to come in and be like, yo, Joe, she lied to you, man. Yeah.
it's also I'm gonna juxtapose this. I'm gonna use your word with a series that I'm also currently watching, which is one of the comparisons I made to Joe and Eva. The It's from Last of Us, Joel and Ellie.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, where there was a rift between the two of them that was formed by the lie that it was Joel who actually lied to Ellie about what
Mm,
happened in Utah. Right. So
yeah.
in the Survivor world, it is the Ellie of the Survivor world who's going to cause the rift. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So we got that. Yeah, season 2 of The Last of Us is
yep.
out. The latest episode, really good.
I mean, it's just a really good show.
Yeah.
Like, they've been killing it with video game movies,
Hmm.
video game TV series,
Hmm.
TV streaming series.
Yeah.
I guess series, because they're not
Series.
necessarily on TV.
Uh-huh.
Because like the Fallout show is really good,
Yeah.
right? And like Last of Us,
Hmm.
Pedro Pascal, come on,
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic,
Mr. Fantastic, The
uh,
Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian, the I mean, we don't think about Game of Thrones. We don't think about his role in Game of
Well,
Thrones.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, he's starting to become the new Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, who was also on Game of Thrones? But yeah, uh, yeah, there is a possibility of a rift, and this goes to my question. We I think we touched on it last episode because that was also when Chrissy blew up about the whole strength and loyalty. Do you think that loyalty does loyalty really have no place in the game of Survivor? Right. Uh, we've seen how this season, because we talked about it in this episode, our expectations have been subverted because the strong are banding together
Yeah.
and they're staying loyal to as much to a certain extent to each other. But in the end, does loyalty really have no place in the game of Survivor,
You know it
or
does.
should it?
I think it's just a social tool,
Mm.
right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a social tool. Like, um, w- we're in the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, we are.
Survivor is a game of politics.
Uh huh.
Like at the heart of it, right? It's a political science experiment basically,
Mm.
and something that we are all too familiar with when it comes to political maneuverings in this country is, and I'm pretty sure in like every country, um, you know, this is how Linda McMahon became Secretary of Education of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like loyalty and reciprocity are used as political tools.
Mm.
So insofar as you know, hustle, loyalty, and respect. So I wrestling, WrestleMania was like I was watching
Oh, did it
WrestleMania.
recently happen?
Yeah, like over the it was
Oh.
yeah, yeah. WrestleMania was 1920,
Oh,
like
I didn't know that.
this weekend.
Okay.
So yeah. Um so yeah, like loyalty, reciprocity, this sort of thing are tools in a political arsenal, and Survivor being a game of politics necessarily uses that as one of the tools that can be pulled out,
Mm.
you know.
Mm. Mm.
So it you know it's something that can be used by somebody like a Boston Rob, right? Like trying to do the whole mafia boss thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty to the family, you know. So it's a
So it's basically we're equating Boston Rob's loyalty to the family to loyalty to the strong group, the strong five, now strong six. Or are
yeah.
they
I mean,
using
yeah.
loyalty in the same, or do they have the same conception of loyalty? Do you think that David
Hmm,
and Joe and Eva have the same conception of loyalty as Boston Rob did?
probably not,
Right?
but the outcome is the same because it's still a coercive tool.
Oh yeah, I guess my question is: do you think that David, Joe, and Eva and the rest of the strong? Because I do think that Shaheen and Kyle think of loyalty as a tool. But do you think that David, Joe, and Eva think of it as a tool, or is it just like part
That's
of
a
them that they really want to
that's a
you
really
to
good question.
right
That's a really good question. I think that Joe and Eva have loyalty to each
to
other.
each other? Yeah.
Like that's for sure. And I think David just isn't a big enough fan of Survivor yet,
Mm. Yeah,
right?
we don't know if he's like a super fan, right?
He's not. Like
Mm.
he has said that he's one of the COVID converts.
Mm.
And I don't think he's watched anything before 41 or something.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's really old school in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like old school in the sense that he doesn't know Survivor in the way that the super fans do, because he really wasn't a super fan, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's pretty good casting, because he's kind of old school in that way. Um, Kind of like in Australian Survivor, right? Those, like, half of them aren't
Yeah.
fans at all. They didn't know what rocks were. Come on, like, would David know what rocks are? Like, that's I wouldn't put it past him not to know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he
Hmm.
would because they've gone to rocks in like New Era Survivor, but I don't know. They've almost gone to rocks in New Era Survivor, but like I'm pretty sure that you know. I don't know, not I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't put it past him not to know what rocks are because he isn't like a super fan in the same way that some of the others are. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
David.
That's
So
David
I
for
I
you.
think yeah, you saw it in his first tribal council, right? He spoke. Um, he didn't. He didn't. He spoke like somebody that has a very sort of naive view of
Mm.
Survivor, right? Like Jeff calls him out on it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you've never been to tribal, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I think his conception of loyalty um is in a way sincere, but it's
Hmm.
like naive because he doesn't he didn't at the time have that game savvy from watching previous seasons and sort of assimilating that. That's just my theory.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. It does seem that he comes from that point of being naive, right?
Yeah.
While we've got he- basically, what I'm saying is that it's sort of like a spectrum where you got David on one side, and then you got guys like within the strong five. Let's limit it to five. You've got David on one side, and you've got Kyle on the other. You got
Yeah.
David whose loyalty is mostly sincere and naive, and you've got Kyle who knows that it can be used as a tool, and you've got Joe somewhere in the middle, to head tracking towards the middle, and
Yeah.
then Shaheen right beside Kyle. Maybe it's like David, and then closest to him would be Eva, and then you've got Joe in the middle, and then you've got Shaheen and Kyle on the far end. So yeah,
Yeah. So by that logic, we're saying that um Joe has a better chance of turning on Eva than Eva has at turning on Joe.
I would think so because only because Eva admitted that it's hard for her to know if someone's lying,
Hmm.
right?
All right.
And I do think that Jeff was sort of foreshadowing it when he said he may stab you in the back later on, but for now, in that
Yeah.
iconic episode, right? Jeff had that line.
Yeah. You know what I
So yeah,
want.
Survivor is scripted. They're doing
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
But you know what I really want to see, and this is going to like bring me to tears, and like not I mean them turning on each other is going to
Mm,
bring on the waterworks, but the thing that's absolutely going to destroy me is if it's like Tony and Sarah,
mm,
and the fire making,
yeah. Oh,
like
if they end
that's
up in
gonna
fire. Oh my
right, that's gonna
gosh.
break me, dude.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was Tony and Sarah, right? Like
Yeah,
that
it
that was
was. It was.
in
Yeah. Winners at War.
Winners at War. Yeah,
Yeah. It
like
was. And then you have Tony in a heap of tears, right?
yeah, yeah.
Even though he won.
That's gonna break me because like if Joe wins, he's gonna be crying like
Yeah.
Tony, and he's gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. And I mean, yeah,
mm,
and I think that the reason why you see that, and I now that you're mentioning it, I also see it, is because we've got Joe and Eva have endeared themselves to us also because of that iconic moment, right? That iconic
yeah,
moment gave them that, okay, they are the good guys. They're good guys, even gooder than David, because David is
yeah,
now Gaston, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, if so now I have a character class for David. He's actually a paladin who's like, yeah, I'm the good. I will be. I'm the holy soldier, and everyone is
yeah,
beneath me. Right. That's sort of what David is. Anyway, I'm going back. I'm going to my D&D.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense though. I can totally see that. Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be that's something that we'll have to watch out for if they do end up. That's gonna be an epic episode
Yeah.
if it does get to that. But let's not try to put our hopes up, get our hopes up too much because it might not happen. You know, we'll only get disappointed. But yeah, that would definitely be an epic episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Although
Any
let's
other
just say, let's just put it there, right? Joe and Eva,
fire?
like put that in fire.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, immunity run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've gone back to predictions. We haven't done
Yep.
that in a while.
Lock that in. This is more of a wish list than it is a
Yeah,
prediction.
I know. I know.
Like more of a
Because
wish list.
I think it's because the season after that episode with Joe and Eva hasn't really been living, as you said, hasn't been living up to our expectations. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So dear listener, right? As you can tell, you can probably tell, we aren't really talking about the episode per se. We're just like rambling on about the season, occasionally making reference to the episode, but like
Hmm.
yeah. In the
Yeah.
past, when there was a really good episode, oh no, dude, we're talking about
Yeah.
the
The
episode,
episode.
right? But like this morning, we're just like, what? What animal would you win in a fight? Oh, you have a Van Gogh shirt, and this thing
Yeah.
from Bali doesn't fit me anymore. Oh.
Anyway, let's get back on track a bit. Any other thoughts on this episode, or do we move to Survivor of the Week?
Let's go to Survivor of the Week.
All right, who do you have as your castaway?
Who do I have as my castaway of the week? Um, hmm, can I? I'm gonna. I gotta say that's really hard because like nobody really did anything super cool.
Mm,
They
yeah.
all tried to do something super cool, but they
Hmm.
just ended up voting out the lady with the big mouth. Like,
Does that make her the castaway of the week then?
you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say Star is the castaway of the week
Ooh, why so?
because she had the cool line about subtitles. Uh, she lost her vote, but she wasn't even in contention.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? She was. I mean that could make her the goat of the week as well. But like, you know what? Screw it. She's goat of the week as well. There we go.
So mine
And you know what?
is
Her. You know what? The purple of the week is her as
is
well. She
also
didn't
her.
do
She
anything.
didn't do anything for this episode. Well, for me, it's like my castaway of the week is Camilla because she dodged the bullet. Right, she
Uh,
was lucky this episode. David was so targeting her, and Mary was so targeting her. I don't know why. Yeah. And then she had the line, David is so stupid. He should have just called up Joe and Eva and said, "Hey, let's join the Olympics together." That was a funny line. It was like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. And my goat of the week is her secret alliance, Kyle. Because I did think that he overplayed his hand. He showed his hand
Mm,
this episode. You sort of have doubts
yeah.
about whether David figured it out or not, but I do think that the way that he was scrambling, or at the very least, Survivor, the production is showing us that his scrambling is showing how his secret alliance is starting to come up.
Yeah.
People are starting to notice the secret alliance. And my purple of the week is any real successful strategic move so far. Still no good strategic move. It's like you said, it's been a pagonging. Not unless something upends the dominance of the strong group in
Yeah.
challenges. Yeah, we're not. It's yeah,
The
or
the other purple of the week could be Star's subtitles.
yeah, start. That would have been yeah. Yeah, okay. So let's move on to whose line is it actually? Again, welcome to the party again. Uh, I think that CBS is on to us. They're killing our mini game.
Yeah.
They're just showing they're just showing who's saying the line that becomes the title for the next episode. The next episode is Welcome to the Party, and it is Shaheen's line. It was shown in Next Time On. Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing we have another mini game.
Yeah, the other mini game. We have several mini games. What it should have been. What is yours?
What animal could you take down in a fight?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
With a
That's a
lot of
good one.
really good lines in this episode,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
A lot to choose from.
Hmm. Mine is something that you've been alluding to. I wish things had subtitles, just for the fun of it. And just because it was Star who said it. I mean, she is still the most entertaining castaway so far in
Yeah.
this season. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a lot of really good lines this episode, just gotta say.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
after the challenge and the tribal council.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She's good TV, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really good because she was like really shafted those first couple of episodes, huh?
Hmm. Yeah.
And now she's like a fan favorite. She's like Genevieve from last season.
True. True. And then she ends up winning it all.
Or she ends up being like Genevieve. And being one of
I
those,
haven't I haven't seen her do anything strategic yet though. That's the thing. Genevieve was a player from the get
yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I've said this before. It's important that they don't let Star get to the end because if we were to if we were to like weight the rubrics,
Hmm.
um the new era feels like everything under the social game criterion is weighted a little bit heavier than the strategic and the physical.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if we go to Australian Survivor, and this also has been a sort of uh, evidence that has been presented in Survivor US, that if you're able to make the jury laugh, you're gonna win. And that
Yeah.
happened in Survivor Australia. That has happened several times in the new era. And
Yeah.
we know that if Star gets to the final tribal council, she's gonna make people laugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mary though. Mary, come on. Come on. Come on.
Show your
Asians. Asians.
Instagram personality in the final five.
Her drunk Instagram personality.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, yeah. So anyway, any last thoughts for this evening's episode?
um I thinking about it, I don't think I could take down a horse with a knife.
What would you use? A bazooka?
Yeah. Mustard gas. I said mustard gas earlier. Fine. Mustard
Mm.
gas.
Mustard gas. Okay, there you go. Yeah. As for me, I still don't know what I would be able to take down. Anyway, that's it for this episode. For tonight's episode, we would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button so we don't get voted off this channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parkon.
I'm Joe.
We hope to see you again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, mga kalaro. The Titos have